we are going live now. Hope everybody is able to hear me. And once we get the confirmation, we'll get started. I'll start sharing my screen now. Started. I'll start sharing. So, a warm welcome to everyone. I'm here joined with the fellow MVP Rajinder along with me. Welcome, Rajinder. Welcome to this another session. Rajinder, you are not audible.
Okay, I'm mute. Good morning, Amit. Good morning. Can you hear me now?
Yes. So I also would like to welcome our moderator Vijaya and Mamta. We will be joined by Supraja and Mani Deepak also in upcoming sessions. And today we are experimenting that Vijaya should also be able to post the links. So hopefully she will help you out. Yesterday, if you remember, we were started with fabric concepts. We have taken you through all the basic fabric concept which you are required, and we are part of this series which we call Fabric Data Days, which is going to run for next 50 days, which started on 4th November. And as part of that, Microsoft is giving you free vouchers. And for the condition for that is you need to attend some of the events which are done by MVPs like me and Rajinder. We are doing that as individual capacity, and we are also doing it together. So for more details, you can look at the link of the MVPs. Moderators are going to share with you, where you can find out all the sessions which are done by different MVPs. Now, in case you want to apply for voucher, once you are well prepared, you have to do it before 31st of December. Not only you have to claim it, but you have to also give the exam. The exam could be DP600 and 700, which is for which you are going to get 100% discount voucher. But yes, if you are looking for a different exam like PL300, then you are going to get 50% voucher. Just for everybody's information, we are also going to do a PL300 session. Bharat is leading that from Bharat Insight, and that's going to happen on 15th of November in India time from 10 a.m. onwards. And we will also share the details for the same here. So let's begin today's journey. And today we are going to focus on ingest and transform data. And so what does that mean? Basically, you are doing this entire stuff on Microsoft Fabric. And as you know, Microsoft Fabric is a data analytics platform. So it is pretty important that you get the data from the sources and you transform it to make it usable. So we are starting this journey, and this is one of the biggest part of the journey which we are going to do, because we are going to have a lot of practicals which is starting from today. And some of you might have already got BI World login, and those of you didn't get it, we'll share a link with you. You can apply for that. So I'll just give that link here in the chat window of YouTube. There is a question, can we get voucher for both DP600 and 700? No, with one login you can get only one voucher, either DP600 or 700. When we will get vouchers, I think you apply for that. In case you did not receive any response by month end, you can share your logins of community login, basically fabric community.powerbi.com or community.fabric.microsoft.com. You can share that with us, and we will try to find out that. So these were a couple of questions which I got. I answered that. So let's go back to our journey. So I'm going to briefly tell you about the cost part of Microsoft Fabric. So primarily we have part of which is capacity. You need to have a capacity for Fabric, unlike Power BI, where you can manage with either a Pro or PPU license. You need to have a storage, what we call one lake storage, virtualized storage for your entire tenant. So capacities are starting from F2, then goes to F4. F64 is one of the capacity which on talking. This is very similar to P1 in terms of capabilities, where you don't require licenses for viewers. Prior to F64, you would require license for everyone. So this capacity onward, you don't require any licenses, and that is why this capacity is really important. And then data transfer rates, as usual, it's an Azure resource, so data transfer rates will apply. And development cost, why I've crossed out, we said that we are going to create lesser copies, it's going to take less time, and we need lesser of development tool. So that is why we say cost is little less. Now these are the US rates for the pay as you go. This is a little older slide, that's why you don't see the reservation cost, but you typically do a 41% of saving if you reserve it for a year. Now then what are the storage prices? The basic storage, 1 lakh storage is 0.023 per GB per month, and typically you would be requiring in the range of terabytes, like 1 terabyte, which is around $23 per month. Now there are different kind of storage, like cache storage is one important one. You require this if you are using real-time analytics, like you are using K-QL or data activator, then you would be needing that. So you should be aware that if you are using the data activator, or you are using K-QL, or means SQL database, means you are using event house, then you would be require a different kind of cache and it is charged differently. Also there are certain native storage provided for your Power BI licenses, like Pro licenses and PPU licenses still come with some import mode storage, which is also available. And all these things you can find on the license page. You can search for Microsoft Fabric licenses and you will get that, and I will share that later on in this session also. And again, there is a concept of mirroring we talked about. In mirroring, what happens? Microsoft take care of bringing the data from source to target. Means, and because this can only be done for databases where we have a good support for CDC, change data capture. So for such databases, it has already been supported. You can develop your own mirroring also using the custom mirroring which has been provided. But the benefit of the mirroring is that you get 3 terabytes of storage. Like if you are on F2 capacity, you get 2 terabytes of storage. You don't need to worry about how the data is going to come, because if it has been a connector provided by Microsoft, Microsoft is going to take care of data, continuous data flow or CDC, and also you are getting a free storage. And some of the customer like this feature a lot because they are saving on the cost. But do remember, you are going to pay the data transfer cost at the source, because you are taking out data from there. So let's say you are taking out data from a database and that is not on, let's say, Azure, and you might incur a cost of taking out that data outside that system, outside that cloud also. Thus compute comes up with capacity. So we treat compute and capacity as kind of term. If you are saying is it coming with storage, no, it doesn't come with storage. Storage has to be purchased separately, capacity / compute has to be purchased separately. Transfer prices will apply across cloud or cross region. Okay, Rajendra is answering, so I'll leave it to him. So yeah, so you have to start the trial. See what happens in case you would have got logins from BI World. We can only have 5 to 7 trial per tenant. So we have already consumed that. So some of you might have got this button, not at this location, but on the right hand side little below, and you have started those trials. So per tenant we have 5 to 7 trials available, and that is what we can get max. It runs for 60 days. It did got renewed. So when I'll share my screen, you will realize that I still have 7 or 8 days of trial left out, while we have done a session in August, there also it was there. So it's extended couple of times, but yes, now it may go away. So those who are using those capacity, I'll tell you how to use a different capacity and still continue to work. So we can share capacities, trial capacity across various users. Now today we are going to focus, and from today onwards we are going to focus ingest and transform batch data. So how we are going to bring the batch data in. After that we are going to have Surya Teja with us, who is going to talk about the ingestion and transformation of real-time data. So where all places you can load the data: lakehouses, warehouses, and SQL DB. So 3 kind of storage. And what works best? Where should I choose? Lakehouse, warehouse, or SQL DB? So there are rules, certain things which you can apply, and you can say, okay, for this I can use. So no code, pro code, how you want to develop? Do you want to develop on Spark or T-SQL? And this is specifically for data warehousing needs. So for data warehousing needs, if you need Spark, Lakehouse. If you need T-SQL, warehouse. Do you need multi-table transaction? Yes, warehouse. No, Lakehouse. What type of data you are analyzing? You don't know, means it could be structured, unstructured, Lakehouse. It is both structured and unstructured, Lakehouse. It is structured, warehouse. Now again, there could be a little different way to deal with this. Again, you want T-SQL versus Spark. You say my choice of technology is T-SQL. In T-SQL, are you going to do OLTP or OLAP? Transactional processing or analytical processing? Means are you doing warehousing or are you creating an app? If you are creating an app, SQL DB. If you are doing warehousing, warehouse. OLAP, you are simply doing OLAP, but it is, you love Spark as a technology, Lakehouse. Structured data or any data. If it is structured data, again OLTP versus OLAP, which is SQL DB versus warehouse. If you have any kind of data, you can warehouse, means structured and unstructured. Now, how can you bring in data? You can bring in using notebooks. You can bring in using SQL Analytics endpoints, data flow Gen 2, data pipeline, shortcut. Now, some of you might be surprised, how can I bring data using Apache notebook? We have connectors. SQL and SQL endpoints. SQL do have, those connectors where you can load the CSV files from various places. Again, after transforming the data, again you are going to use the SQL endpoint to transform and then put data. So again, it kind of an ingestion point. Data flow Gen 2, data pipelines, you are pretty much aware. Shortcuts, you are aware. Mirroring is another method. Okay, so all those ways you can bring in batch data. Now, ingestion guidelines. What are the ingestion guidelines? And this is typical slides coming from the Microsoft deck. That use cases: data lake, data warehouse, migration, data ingestion, lightweight transformation. You can use data pipeline, copy activity. And data flow Gen 2, data ingestion and transformation, data wrangling, data profiling. See what happens when you use data pipelines, copy activity, you are not looking for transformation, you are looking for bulk data ingestion. But when you do data flow Gen 2, you can do transformation. Again, Spark, you can also do transformation, data processing and data profiling. Primarily persona, you can choose by persona. If you are a data engineer or data integrator, you can use pipeline. If you are a data engineer, data integrator, business analyst, you can use data flow Gen 2. Data flow Gen 2, why we say data business analyst will love? Because it has that UI component. Data flow Gen 2 is coming from that Power Query world where you have everything UI driven. And even if you don't know much of Power Query, you can still manage with data flow Gen 2. Similarly, if you are a data scientist, you would love to work with Spark, so you can go ahead and do that. In fact, data engineering, most of the data engineering these days is happening in Spark, especially PySpark or Spark SQL. Now, primary skill set can decide ETL, SQL or JSON, data pipeline, ETL, M or SQL, data flow Gen 2, Spark. If you love Spark, Scala, SQL or R, Spark R, Spark, and when we are talking about Spark, we are talking about Spark R. It means you can use Scala. Now, low code, no code, all of them are low code, no code. But yes, Spark is a little bit of coding, but you have Copilot if you want assistant. Now, interface, if you like the Power Query interface versus you like notebooks or you like assistant and canvas, that could be choice. Now, a number of connectors is something which is going to make a difference. We have more than 100 plus 150, but I think we have recently 200 plus connector for data flow Gen. And that is why sometimes it becomes choice because one, most number of connector. Second, it has a UI interface which makes it easy. Then for Spark, you have tons of Python and PySpark libraries to bring in. And similarly, data pipeline, there are 30-40 plus connectors which you can use. For destination also, we have tons of connectors and transformation complexity. Now, data pipeline has its own way of transformation. We can do certain jobs which other may not be able to do. Data flow Gen 2, you can do a lot of transformation. Same is true for Spark. I think there is a question ongoing that you have exhausted your 60 days and how to do is. So I can tell you, if you are admin of your tenant, what you can do is those trials which have expired, you can remove those just before they expire, and then you can other user can start the trial. You as a user will not be able to start the trial. Okay, real-time analytics in Fabric. We have event stream, event house, we have K-SQL dataset, real-time dashboard, activator. We are going to discuss these in details in upcoming sessions. And ingestion of real-time data sources also, we are going to cover it in upcoming sessions on Thursday and Friday. A K-SQL language, K-query, we are going to cover it in details. And those who are looking for little early access, they can look at my Hindi and English previous series where I have done the 10 classes. The content this time is going to be little different than what we have done last time, but in case you plan to give it in, let's say, month of November and you need content, then I can share that series also with you and you will be able to do using that. So let me share all that content with you. Especially if you are looking for on my channel, if you are looking little older content, be careful. Some of those UI might be little older. So I'll give you the content playlist and then we'll move forward. Okay, so now what we are going to do is we are going to jump directly onto the action on the app. So I'm going to open app.powerbi.com and you can also reach to this place using app.fabric.microsoft.com, and let me showcase you the URL. The URL. So this is what we call as Power BI experience. You have Microsoft Fabric experience from where you can also go to different experiences. So I usually prefer that because I started my career with Power BI. So I always have this habit of using app.powerbi.com. That's why I prefer. Now, some of you might see your trials are getting expired or trials left out 6 days. If Microsoft decided not to renew it, we will not be able to do that. But yes, to purchase a capacity, you will be able to transfer it. The capacity should be purchased in the same region. Now, how to start a trial? Those who have an option, they will have a button here. And some of you, we have given logins, you have started new trials, and I can show you what new trials have started. Now, how people can start this trial, admin need to enable it. So in the admin portal, they have to enable two things. First thing they have to enable is user can create Fabric items. That's the first one. And then the free try features, that user can try the paid features for free. This is the one feature which need to be enabled. If these two things are enabled, then only people will be able to start the free trials. And I've seen recently these were not enabled and people did face challenges. But after enabling this in 5 to 10 minutes, you will be able to do. Now, where trial capacity will be available. Now, if you have started, you will be able to see under capacity setting. If anybody in your organization has started, you should be able to see that inside your capacity setting as a tenant admin. So I am a tenant admin of this domain and I can see all the trial capacities. So you guys have to remember these three numbers, and I'm going to post these three numbers which you are going to use. The capacities below 3, which are 52 days, 59 days and 59 days. You should be using those, and I'm going to give those capacity number. In case you are working with BI World, then you should use only these capacities, which is basically give you 60 days. Now, to use this also, you might have to start the free PP trial or pro trial. So do go ahead and start that trial if you have got a new login. And if you are getting a problem with your old login, we can delete your old login and we can create a new one. But most of you will not be able to start a new trial now, at least with BI World logins. If you have your own domain where you have the trial, please go ahead and start that. Now, once you have the trial or you have the paid capacity, the next step is to create a workspace. So how are you going to create a workspace? You are going to go to the workspaces on the left. Make sure you are on app.powerbi.com and you have to go on the workspaces on the left and you have to click on workspaces. And there bottom you will get this new workspace option. And inside this new workspace, you can give it a name. So we will call it DP700 November 2025. This is what we are doing. Now comes the important part. If you have created domains, we have not discussed domain, but we do have discussed last time in the series. You can find the link above. I have I have created domain like Fabric and Fabric Hindi I can use. Against domain, if you still see my background, which is still open, the tenant settings. Inside the tenant setting means when I open the admin portal, inside the admin portal I have tenant setting, and below that I have domain from where I created. So I can have a domain, but domain is optional. Basically the functional grouping of data. Now I am the owner here. I can add other owners. Trial, because I want to use trial. I do have pro and PP here, and then I have to use the trials. So here what you have to do is, I think the last two are the one which are still working, so I can use one of those two ending with W. But let me confirm the capacities to you. So I'm just going to share you the capacities which you can use. And these are only applicable those who are using BI World logins. They are not applicable for someone who is using their own domain. If you are using your own domain, please check out which capacities are working. Now once you are done with that, you can go down and click on this apply button, and you will get a new workspace. And this workspace, okay, create workspace, because error has occurred. Wait for a few minutes. Try again. Try again. Okay, it seems like it's already been created. It's saying it's not available. Okay, so let's go ahead and do one thing. Let's refresh. This might be a temporary error, so I'm just going to check out if it's already available, we can use it. It's not available. Okay, so I'm going to try it again. If it doesn't work out, we are going to use the existing one. Let's call it 2025-1 advanced. And I've already shared the capacity, so I'm going to use 41Z. I can use 41Z at the end. 41 W. This is the one. First one, Central India, should work. Okay, let's click on apply again. Okay, so this time I'm able to create. So I've already given the capacities, those who are using the BI World logins, and from there you can start using it. Now what I'm going to do is, the first thing which I'm going to create is basically Lakehouse. But before that, very important for DP700 that you go ahead and look at these workspace setting. Please understand each and every workspace setting in details and looking at the article. So general properties are fine. In the general properties, one workspace, OneDrive and workspace contacts are available. Then you have license info. From where do you change your capacity? Like from free to trial. So from trial to paid capacity, you are going to change it from here, license info. Configuration here available inside license info. From there you can go edit and change it. Then connection link. This is the same link you use with third-party applications to connect to this particular workspace. Then if you have like Azure connection, ADLS Gen 2 specific path you wanted to, you can use it here. Okay, Azure Log Analytics, again it comes from Azure connection. Now system storage, how much storage it is taking, especially important if when you are using Pro, and once you have the Lakehouse and warehouse, when you have some data, it is going to tell you about Git integration. If you want to do, yesterday Rajinder do talk about that briefly. You can start from here. You can click on Azure DevOps or GitHub and add your accounts. Now because I have a Git here available, that is why it is started showing enabled. OneLake, if you want to download and install OneLake Explorer, that option is available. Enable cache for shortcut. What does that mean? If you are creating shortcuts and you want the little bit of caching need to be done, which allows you to query the data faster, then you can enable it. Add diagnostic event to the lake houses. So let's say you want to diagnose what is happening in your lake house. For that, what you can do is you can enable that. Workspace identity, please go ahead and read about workspace identity. Now it is getting a lot of attention, and I'll also try to share the article little later. Yesterday also I shared in the chat. but please do go ahead and read about workspace identities. And even if you just wanted to do that, you can click on that and you will get to the right article. So workspace identity could be knowing. We were typically using service principal from Azure. Now, other than service principal, you can also be able to use workspace identity, which are actually tied at the workspace level. Okay, so create a workspace identity as an authentication matter. This is at the workspace. Now, outbound network, especially, it is available for private endpoint. So if somebody asks what is the private endpoint, these things, so you need to be aware. Inbound networking, these are the rules. Allow all the connectors to this workspace, including private limited. Allow connectors only from this workspace privately. So these are again important settings. Encryption, in case you are using managed keys. So this is very important question. Can I bring in my managed keys? Yes, we have got this facility some time back where we can get our managed keys. Monitoring, in case you want to monitor all the events, what is happening, then you can enable the monitoring. Similarly, for Power BI, you have general settings. Allow contributor to update app. So what happens? Contributor may not be able to update the app, only members and admins can do, but you can allow using this setting. Data connections. Enforce granular access control for data connections. You can do from here. Embedding code, if you want to do that. Right now, there is nothing of it. Now, delegate setting, OneLake settings. Authenticate OneLake with the user delegated SAS token. Enable data lake to Apache Iceberg table format. Now, this is really important. If some of you wanted to use the Iceberg format, you can try this out. Again, important settings. All these settings are important specifically for DP6 and Copilot for Azure OpenAI service if you want to enable. Same way, Apache settings. Where are your Apache Spark settings? Available here, and you should be able to see your pool, what pool I am using right now, and environment. This is really important. This is my environment which I am using right now, and there is a previous version which is also available. Now, jobs, high concurrency, all these you can decide from here. Data factory settings. Apache Airflow, if you are using, you can use there, and data warehouse settings you can also set from here. Fine. Do you want the case sensitivity and non-case sensitivity? Now this option has been given here. Some of you might be a little worried about that. So this setting is available at the workspace level. At the workspace level, you can decide. So all these settings are really important. So please go through each one of them, especially if you are appearing for those. Now, next step is to get the data store. Let me see if there is any question which I would like to take up, and I think Rajendra is already replying. So I'll move on, but just keep on posting the questions. We have Vijaya, we have Mamta, we have Rajendra, who's the speaker also for today. He's also replying there. I'm just going to hand it over to him in few minutes after I create the Lakehouse. So I'll create on new Lakehouse, and those of you who are creating with me, you should also create a new item on the left top. Then you will should get this new pop-up, and inside this new pop-up, you should search for Lakehouse. If you don't want to search, you scroll down under the store data. You should be able to get Lakehouse. Now we have many such stores now. Azure to Fabric migration purview. We have this. This is actually my own company's one. Cosmos DB. So basically, this is nothing but a migration tool which has been created. These are what we call the partner workload. So this is one of the partner workload. That's why it is appearing. Cosmos DB. Data Mart, Event House, Lakehouse. Now Lakehouse is something which you are going to create. Sample warehouse you can create with sample data, but even after creating a warehouse you can load the sample data. That's what I'm going to showcase you for the Lakehouse also. Semantic model, if you want to create semantic model from scratch. Now those of you who are using Mac and has a question, can I do Power BI from scratch on Power BI service? Yes, you would be able to create semantic model in Power BI service. You don't need a desktop. That feature has also come. SQL DB, test, set preview, and warehouse. Okay, all these things are available. This is again a partner tool. I was testing it out, so test, set preview, partner tool. Let me click on Lakehouse and create a Lakehouse. Lake 01, my favorite name. You should always use Lakehouse schemas, public preview. Create. This allows you to create schemas to better manage. So typical our structures is we create Lakehouses for bronze, silver, and gold. If you are doing the Mendelian architecture, the gold, silver, and bronze, silver, and gold are our Lakehouses, and inside that we might have multiple schemas like sales, master data, and all those. Though at some stages we do have separate workspaces for sales and finance, but remember, even though you might have separate workspaces for, let's say, for sales, finance, master data, when you create your semantic model, you might need shortcuts from other places to start this journey. Now, you can see the message, the SQL Analytics endpoint is created, and these days we only get two things. When we started this journey, and if you look at some of our older video, we talk about three things. And for that, I need to go to the workspace. So let me try if I can open it in new window. Let me duplicate this. So we used to have three things: Lakehouse, SQL Analytics endpoint, and default semantic model. But we don't have default semantic model now. We only have two entities here, which is one is your Lakehouse and second one is your SQL Analytics endpoint. So these are the only two things which is getting created now. The default semantic model has been deprecated from the September. Now, to start this work, I'm going to click on start with sample data, and some of these options I think Rajendra is going to take you through. So I just click on the start sample data, and you can choose any one of these data and Rajendra will let you know. But I typically like this retail data model worldwide importers. So I'm clicking on that, and this is a real good data for your preparation. And with this, I will now hand it over to Rajendra to take you through the journey of how to use SQL Analytics endpoint, what are the various important properties of lake houses, and how to ingest the data. So Rajendra, you are all set?
Yeah, I'm there. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to switch my screens and give it to Rajendra. And some of you have to confirm that you are able to hear Rajendra. And let me switch the screen. Okay, I'm shifted the screen. Let me close the participant. Rajendra, all.
Yeah, thank you. Let me share my screen. Yeah.
Let me close the participant. Rajendra, all.
Yeah, thank you. Let me know once you're able to see my screen. Yeah, okay.
Let me close the participant. Rajendra, all.
Guys, can you able to see my screen? If yes, please respond yes. Okay then, thank you. So let's get started. So Amit, let me create, I haven't created it. Already some other lake houses has been created. Let me showcase to you from starting onwards, okay? Extracting the sample data and so on. So guys, I already created the workspaces. Workspace name is DP700 FTD. And if you're observing, I'm using the Fabric content. So we are connecting via app.powerbi.com, or maybe you can also try with the Fabric. Maybe in the left-hand side, if you're observing, from Fabric also, you can just try to create a new workspace and then you can try that process as well. Okay. So as we are already connected with the Power BI, so I get started with the Power BI and we will see how we are going to create a Lakehouse again, simply. And then I will also import one sample data set, worldwide importers, and I will take it forward further. So here, if you're observing, different workloads are available on this new items part. Let me click on this. And I'm using the trial account. You can see my trial activated 19 days left. And some of the favorite items has been configured here, just a kind of favorite items. And if you want to see the all items, these are the different workloads which are available. So these many are there as per the data extraction, or maybe if you want to do some advanced data science related project or data warehouse building, anything, you can get it here by clicking on this all items. So let me select the Lakehouse first. I will use most of the time search option here so that it is easy for me to, instead of using this vertical scrollers and so on. Lakehouse, giving some name to this, maybe just DP700 practice. I'm using the location. Space is not allowed and a hyphen is also not allowed. So whenever you are creating the Lakehouse, please keep in mind hyphen and space is not allowed. Select it. step-by-step process. If you have any queries, please post it in the chat so that it helps to, like we will help you to get it onto this. So once the Lakehouse created, you can see this window, right? Some of the important key areas that we have to keep in mind. So for each and every Lakehouse, there is a dedicated SQL Analytics endpoint will be get created. You can see on the right-hand side, automatically I got a pop-up like SQL Analytics endpoint has been created successfully. So it's very important. So number of Lakehouses is equal to the number of SQL Analytics endpoint. Okay. So on the left-hand side, if you're observing, automatically once the Lakehouse has been created, you can see the two things, tables and files. So table stands for managed tabular information, and maybe if you are trying to extract the data like a semi-structure, unstructured, maybe if it is not in a tabular model, such kind of a scenario we can navigate and we can try to fetch it via files also. And if you're observing the center, right, get data into the Lakehouse. First of all, we need to bring some information, inject the data via the process. How we are going to do that? There are different ways. If you're observing in the center part, you can upload some static file, flat files, or maybe if you want to play, maybe whoever joined the first time, if you want to try this one, some sample data has been provided by Microsoft Fabric logins. And a new shortcut is something, maybe if the data is resides on some external sources, external clouds, we can try to pull it over as well, like Amazon S3 buckets, or maybe if you're trying to pull GCPs, Google Cloud, and so on. And even new Dataflow Gen 2 is similar kind of functionality, which is we are calling it as an online Power Query editor. So Dataflow Gen 2 is enabled for only Microsoft Fabric licenses part. So maybe if you are familiar with the Dataflow Gen 1, that one you can observe only on the Power BI, not on Fabric content. So you can observe the Dataflow Gen 2 on Microsoft Fabric. So whoever familiar, maybe if I'm familiar with the data pipeline building, I can navigate and I can make use of the data ingestion part via new pipeline, which is almost as feature like Azure Data Factories. Let's try to pull a sample data first, practice it. So as I said, three databases are there as per the data sets part: public holidays, retail worldwide data marts, and as well as New York taxi. Let me try to pull this worldwide importers. It's simple. It's as simple as this. And if you have any queries, please post it. I hope you are also parallelly doing it your end. Responses says, please, if you are doing the parallelly, able to import this one. So each and every time, I will always prefer to check the notification, whether it has been success or failure, or maybe if there is any issues, I'll just try to cross verify the notification, just try to follow the similar kind of a notification alerts at your end as well. So these are the table information, which is a tabular model. So these are all the table information like cities, customer, date, employee, stock items, and even the one fact table has been available here. Fine. And file part, I haven't extracted anything. Maybe at the last time permits, I can showcase to you how I'm going to import some internal one of the warehouse data to the files, and then I will also pull it into the tabular format as well. If time permits, I will showcase to that. And few more things we have to keep in mind at the top: get data. From here also you can try to fetch it what you are expecting, like from which source system you want to pull that information. Or maybe I want to prepare a semantic model. Assume that these are all the tables are tabular model, which is completely structured. I want to go navigate to the preparing the semantic model and try to bring the connections and so on. We can easily navigate to the new semantic model and create modeling as well. And here itself, whenever you can create the lakehouse at the top, we can see the notebooks. So if I'm familiar with the PySpark or Scala or R languages, I can use some more analysis or some more data transformations part by using notebooks also. This is a new feature which has been added for the data agents part, which you are currently observing at the top. So data agents is something like its data sets or semantic model is completely aligned, and I want to write some natural language queries on the top of it, like maybe the end user part. I want to give a control to the end user on the dataset part. He has to write some simple queries related to the information, what he is expecting. In such kind of a scenario, I can navigate and make use of data agents also, which is then comes under the Fabric capacity. But currently I'm using trial account, which I cannot able to showcase to you this data agent. And here itself, if you are observing at the top, manage OneLake security. It's still a preview feature, but we can try to get it configure some kind of an access to the tables, like a row level read permissions or read write permissions or read all permissions. We can get it configured by table wise or maybe the column wise also. We can try to get it configured on this OneLake security part. And I haven't explored this variables. Maybe in future, if time permits, I can try to explore it, update variables, and then maybe related to the notebooks, I think, and I will tell you that. Fine. Once you're able to see these tables, how can I write some queries on the top of it? Or else maybe I want to fetch some more transformations on the top of it and try to do the functionalities like visual level engine. So in such kind of a scenario, if you're observing Lakehouse, I can instantly switch from Lakehouse to the SQL Analytics endpoint. And one more important thing, I just want to keep it, share it with you on this particular workspace. As I said, whenever we created that particular Lakehouse, automatically a kind of a hierarchical flow, you can see our the current DP700 practice, you can see our SQL Analytics endpoint as well. So let me navigate back to the Lakehouse and try to showcase to you something on this SQL endpoint as well. So SQL Analytics endpoint is something, maybe if you are familiar already with the SSMS Studio, SQL Server Management Studio, on the left-hand side Explorer is similar kind of a format. So you can see the schemas and the securities, login permissions, and maybe if you want to save some queries or shared with some other users' queries and so on, you can easily navigate and we can share it via these options. Fine. Is a front-end view. So on the DBOs part, let me use this table. You can see all the list of tables on this DBO schema and the list of tables which we already extracted from an worldwide importers, the customer table, date, employee, stock items, and even the fact which we had just pulled over from the worldwide data importers. That's fine. So if I'm selecting it automatically, you can see the table information. I've just selected the fact sales table. And maybe if you can select the another table, cities, you can see the cities information as well. So a few more changes on this SQL Analytics endpoint, few new features also added in this SQL Analytics endpoint front-end view, which you are currently observing. Just discussed about the left-hand side Explorer, and coming to the right-hand side, there's the complete data area where you can see the data in the form of a preview. And at the top, here also some of the features we can just try to navigate and we can make use of it. Maybe if you are trying to navigate to the SQL query to the notebook, we can navigate from here too. And new visual query is something like I want to apply some transformations on the top of it. Is a kind of a flow. Such kind of a scenario, I can also make use of new visual query engine. I will also showcase to you in a couple of minutes. And semantic model preparation, we can do it. And even we can try to download SQL database project, a complete table information as a project, and we can try to view it as well. And again, this is the new feature, new API for GraphQL databases. So which again, some licenses require, I think. So recently I have written a blog on this GraphQL, which is very efficient for the data processing as well as a data, performance part. I feel like more comfortable by using this GraphQL database systems by using API endpoint connects. Fine. What I will showcase to you here, on this particular window, SQL Analytics endpoint, let me navigate to the new visual query. So currently on the right-hand side, the complete blank, you have to drag and drop and you can see the further processing. So what we have to drag and drop. So in the left-hand side, these are the tables, right? Just try to drag and drop. It will take some time as I'm currently using the trial. If no issues, it will become automatically. Once I can try to drag and drop. Let me check some simple data set also. Hope everyone with me. Any queries? Yeah. So as you can see the source, database, and the table information. And further, if you still need to get it involved with some transformations, it's a similar like Power Query Editor, which we will do it on Dataflow Gen 2. Here we can see the different transformations that are available. You're observing, or maybe I want to select list of number of columns is less. I can just try to choose the number of choosing the columns as well, like this. If you're observing, maybe I can choose the state And let me use some more region column and continent, country, few. With this, and still, if you're observing here, you want to get it visualize a kind of ad hoc report building, we can use the visualize the result. From here also with this particular data set, we can try to start getting visualize for Power BI front end part. Let me use one more, just try to drag and drop the fact sales as well. Let me check if I can try to perform something on this, like a grouping or let's say this. Yeah. If you're observing another data set I just pulled over, that is a sales fact related sales. What I will do in the sense here on this particular data set, let me try to group based on the sales key wise. So here we will try to perform the transformations. Let me showcase to that. Group it, or here also you can easily find out what transformations that are available. So different views that are we can try to incorporate, and we can try to navigate from one layer to the another. And backend, what is the backend generated query? If you want to view, sometimes it is very helpful for us, like a view SQL query. So let me showcase to you how it has been generated the queries also. Here, view SQL. Let me showcase to you that. Group by. I'm just trying to do a group by based on giving some name to this new column name, items. So here, these are the different operations, aggregated operations, which you are currently observing, some average, min, max, or maybe if you want to perform on all the key columns, I can try to configure it. And based on some metric, let me choose it, unit price. In this way. So item wise, I just try to perform a grouping. It will take some time based on the data set size. And maybe with these two columns, I want to get it visualized to the front end part. We can start visualizing by using visualize the result. Sometimes, right, we will get a request from the end user to download in the form of an Excel. So it's as simple as easy to get it download, and we can share this analysis to the customers as well. Fine. Hope everyone with me. Any questions? Any questions? Yes. Views, not tables. So I will prefer views only. I will navigate it to it. So most of the times I will try to prefer to, if that instead of importing the tables, I will prefer to use it as a views, because it's a kind of a viewing of the data. So I will try to import it and make sure that the performance will not get impacted via the tables or extractions part. Hope I have answered to you the questionnaire. Yeah. Fine. Let me navigate back to the workspace. So see here in this particular part, and let me navigate back to this SQL Analytics endpoint, right? Back to this Explorer. Fine. Let me showcase to you a few more things. So this is the way of importing or else injecting the data to the tables. So, and one more example I just to come up with. So real-time practices part. So already the data set is there, readily available, which is available in a data warehouse. I want to pull it over instead of re-extracting or re-importing. How can we manage it? So this is the regular which I will get it on daily. So in such kind of a scenario, so you can try to make use of a shortcut. So it's a shortcut. This part also I'll just try to showcase to you using OneLake, which is already there in my one of the warehouse. So I already created, you can see the differentiation there, what type of information we are using, types, Lakehouse, warehouse, maybe the KQL databases and so on. Let me use the warehouse here. So I'm not importing, re-importing the data. So I'm just utilizing the data set that is already available in one of the warehouse. So here, this part, maybe you will not do it at your end, but I'll just try to give you glimpses here, how we can try to reuse the existing one. So it's also one of the WWI in the worldwide importers data set only. Let me showcase you that. It's as simple as easy. So maybe just try to configure the shortcut wise, and status is not yet started. Maybe if you want to change the naming convention, you can change it by using this edit option, and just try to create it so that it's as simple as easy to reuse the existing one without storing the information anywhere, reusing like the existing part. So in this way, we can try to get it import the shortcut wise data also. So how can we easily identify which is shortcut, which is a Delta Lake format, Delta load format file? You're able to see something like a clip button there, right? In the folder part. So which is nothing but a clip information, which is nothing but there's a kind of an icon for the shortcut extraction. So you can easily identify the information that you have imported via a shortcut source system part. Fine. So let me showcase to you one more way to get it extract the data via Git. So new data flow Gen 2 is almost as similar as online Power Query data. You can see more than 100 plus connectors here, like a data transformation. I mean, if you want to get it extract the data, and coming to the transformation, it will be get support whatever the transformations we are familiar in the Power BI desktop level Power Query data. You can see all the transformations which has been listed on the new data flow Gen 2. Let me give a proper name to this DP700. Hyphen is not allowed. Extract, and GitHub is already automatically get enabled. So I'm showcasing the front-end Explorer view, how it looks like, and I just extracted via existing sample files, and automatically it has been turned out as a table information. And I showcased to you the SQL Analytics endpoint. So how we can try to use the transformations inside the SQL Analytics endpoint on the visual level query. And this is another one. So how I'm going to extract the data via data flow Gen 2. So which is there in the Fabric environment. It will take some time for us to get it extract. That operation I will showcase to you, full load operation I will discuss in a minute, maybe just give me a minute, while extracting the data via pipeline. This is the second method which I'm showcasing now, data flow Gen 2. Just give me a minute. So you can also keep in mind the icons, which one is the Lakehouse, which one is in SQL Analytics endpoint. And just now I started creating the data flow Gen 2. You can see that particular options and icons as well. Just to keep in mind what we are doing on our left-hand side. Just keep on monitoring on this. What are the windows which has been used? On the left-hand side is the workspace, which we want to navigate, data flows, and this is the Lakehouse, and Lakehouse is this, and SQL Analytics endpoint. Give me a minute. I don't know why it's still taking time. Yeah, it's coming up. So see here, as I said, which is almost as similar a feature as per the, I mean, if you're already familiar with the Power BI desktop, you can see the similar view kind of extraction. So fine. So how we are going to get it, import some data here. So what I will do in the sense, in this particular scenario, I will try to import some, maybe I will just try to showcase to you an advanced method. So I want to get connect to an SQL server. Let me showcase to that part also. And I already used some configurations here. So I'm trying to connect to the SQL server, and these are all predefined if you're observing. So maybe if you are new connections, if you want to set it over. So if you're connecting to the on-premises SQL server, the gateway configuration is mandatory. So just try to check in your practices part, is that on-premises gateway is enabled or not. I'm using the on-premises, and one of the connection already created. I'm using the similar process now. And the privacy, organizational privacy configurations I'm configured. And let's try to cross-check. Yes. Next. So the table which I'm trying to get connect via Dataflow Gen 2, this particular table also will be get visible to you on the Lakehouse. That is the main motto here, to showcase the table information onto your create a Lakehouse. Let me discuss that part as well. Because I'm using trial account, which is time consumption. It's taking some little bit longer time duration compared to my license related. So here also I'm using sales data importers, which is already there. My source. What I will do in this sense, I will try to pull one simple table, and that particular table will be get visible to you on your existing Lakehouse. Let me showcase to you the date and time table. Time table I'm using because I don't have a date calendar table there. So you are observing, right, on the top in this particular key areas, you can see the similar kind of advanced query editor on this queries part, which we will call it as a table. On the right hand side, whatever the transformations that you are performing on this data set, the steps will be get recorded on your right hand side, query transformation. So most of the data transformations, you can easily find it out at the ribbon level, Power Query ribbon level. So either in the home tab or transform tab or add column tab, as simple as easy, where we will try to perform those transformations. I mean, if you're already familiar with Power BI. Let me add on this table one new column, and then I will load this table to the proper destination. So configuring the destination is very, very important. So currently I don't have any destination. Let me showcase to you how we are going to configure the proper destination, that is the Lakehouse destination, which we created, DP700 practice. It will take some time. But simple data only, but it's taking more time for me. One more last extraction I can showcase to you via data pipeline, and then if you have any queries, I will take it. Okay. Via Dataflow Gen 2, I'm showcasing the process now. So you can see the step-by-step process which has been impacted on the CPU utilization, memory. At the down corner, horizontal, you can see. So status is waiting to get connect to this particular server details, database server details, and the memory allocation. And it is trying to add the destination, default destination endpoint as well. So currently I have connected to the one of the Lakehouse. So it will be detected that particular Lakehouse. And you can see the data destination Lakehouse here on the right-hand side. Give me a minute. Let me see here. Let me configure this. So where you want to get data get stored? Is that a Lakehouse or warehouse, SQL database, or even the SharePoint? So let me configure the Lakehouse before navigating to that and able to see the data and try to create one new column. So here, the configurations, you can observe this, connection details, Lakehouse, on-premises. Maybe if you are trying to do the fresh connection, you can see it something like create a new connection. So it is already connected from my side because already on-premises gateway is enabled. So that's why you can see the Lakehouse with on-premises standard gateway. Whoever trying to connect the first time, you have to get configured with the new connection, and the gateway configuration, you have to process it and then configure the further. Let me showcase to you next. And you can see the complete lake houses which are available in my workspaces, those details and so on the left-hand side. So because I'm trying to choose the destination here, connect to the data destination, you can see all our workspaces and all whatever the lake houses that we have created, it will be visible to you on the left-hand side. So currently, I'm using this particular DP700 FDD is my workspace. Let me navigate here. It's a form of a folder. And I'm using this, if you're observing, multiple. So in one single workspace, you can create multiple lake houses. If you're observing, these are all lake houses only, like DP700, this is my another lake house for practice, another one for the project, and so on. So let's try to configure DP700 practice. So here you have to keep in mind, for each and every lake house, only one analytics, SQL analytics endpoints will be created. And in one single workspace, you can create a multiple lake houses as well. Please keep in mind that is important. So maybe if you want to change the name of this table, let me change it, like giving the name as date table, date and time table. Just to rename the table name, click on next. So here you can see some more operations further on this particular table. Do you want to replace this table, or maybe you want to append this date and time table there? So by default, you can see this use automatic setting. What I will do in this is I'll just try to turn it off to see the what is backend method. So updating method. So it is trying to showcase the replace the data set which is already existing. But I don't want to replace, even though there is no new data set name called date and time. I'll just try to append this data set to my current Lakehouse. So I'm navigating here. So you can see all the column mapping. So what is the data type and so on. You can see it from source to the destination, and try to save the settings. I just turned off the automatic setting feature and configure that one. And this is the front end look. So you can see something like it's stored. On the Lakehouse, whenever I'm trying to on-hover on this data destination, you can see the table information and the Lakehouse where it is storing, and the table data, date and time is the table name, and the operation append type is the append type here. So let me create one simple new column, and then I can showcase that particular new column on your warehouse as well. So I'm using the similar feature as like add column by using this date and time. Let me use something like a name of this particular month, like January, February, March, and so on. Let me save the changes. Earlier, like maybe 3 or 4 months back, you can see the features like a publish now, but we don't have it. So what we will do here now, go to the home tab. Here we can see the functionality name called save or run. Save it just for save for time being, and maybe if you want to do further processing on this data, we can do it. And I already completed the new column addition on this table. What I will do in the sense, I will save this one, run this particular data flow gen 2 and close it. Close it. It will take some time again. And you can monitor the workload, this particular data flow gen 2 here on your workspace, whether it has been succeed or this information will get visible to you here. Or you can also use my favorite. This is the notification part as well. It will take some time. So let's wait to get it visible to you. And navigate it back to the Lakehouse. So the new table date and time should be visible to you on this tables part. Refresh. And few more features I'll just try to showcase to you instead of waiting for this table. So please observe here. And here we have a maintenance part. Run optimize command is something for the improvements of your workspaces. I mean, like this particular performance related, we can try to, by default, it is enabled, optimize run command. It is very important on your certification, maybe if you are planning to attend. And run vacuum command, maybe this particular data set, I want to maintain the redundancy based on some days or months. So we can try to enable this feature also, like a days wise or weekly wise also, we can try to get it enabled. So just try to make sure that optimize is for the performance related and vacuum command is for the data retention policies. I'm not running anything here. I'll just try to cross verify that particular date and time data set should be visible to me here. So you can see the date and time data set, which is now currently available on your tables part. Now from this onwards, from this layer onwards, we can take it forward to build a semantic model, and we can try to give some connections and so on to further enhancements like a report building and so on. So one more last part I will showcase to you, and then Amit, can I showcase one more example? Data flow completed. Okay. Okay. One more example I will showcase to you. One more example. So if you're observing here, get data. So the table is already visible. Now I will showcase to you to get it extract via data pipeline. So it's almost a similar feature as like Azure Data Factory. Let me add some good name to this data pipeline. Let me add some orders table. Okay. Orders tables. I mean, just giving some name, okay, but in real time, we will not give this kind of simple name. We will follow some standards there. So this is the front end look. So if I'm trying to get start with the data pipeline, you can see in complete assistance, copy data assistance, where from which level to the which level on the left hand side, this is the front end window. So copy data into the Lakehouse. So we already configured the Lakehouse and it will be get, maybe if you want to change that Lakehouse to some another, we can also change it. But these are the processing steps. Choose data source. So which source system you're trying to prefer and what is the data destination? And maybe if there is any changes on the data destination file, we can do that. And complete review of the file, we can also view it before loading the table into the destination table. So what I will do this time here, I will showcase to you a different way. Maybe assume that in real time, right? We will have the data at different places, right? So how I'm going to get connect to the, simply we'll go with the blob storage. We will go with the blob. So it's supporting more than any kind of a source systems, more than 100+ source systems. We can try to get it import. We can also use the view more. So I will just try to showcase to you via blob storage. Okay, if you have a very huge containers and storing the data in the cloud part. So how we are going to retrieve that information and store into our lake houses. That part I will showcase to you and then I will wrap up. Or maybe otherwise, somebody asked me in the chat, full load, how can we configure the full load or else incremental load? So if it is a database part, I can configure the full load or incremental load while using this pipeline. Maybe next time I will showcase to you, but this time I'm just going with the flow of Azure Blob Storage. And let me have that blob account as well. We need to have the storage account name. Just give me a minute. So already configure the connections part. If it is a new connection, you can create the new connection and then configure the credentials and the authentication method. And even I'm using the SaaS account key, like a 6 months validation of this particular link. After that, it will get expired. I cannot able to connect to this. So permissions part we have configured in this way. So click on next. You can see whatever the information that are available in the blob storage, like a folder kind of a way, you can see that container information here. Last method, and then sorry for taking additional time. Just give me a minute and then we will wrap up for today. Data files, 2 files are there. Maybe I will use the data files folder. So here, assume that the file is available in the form of sales dwh.csv file format. And you can also see the data preview at the down, but I mean, like, if you have more number of columns, it's a little bit tougher to navigate from horizontal area. I mean, that's what I feel uncomfortable, but it is fine. Let me navigate to the next step. And you can see here, the gateway is already enabled. Let me select it. I want to load it as a table and not an existing table as a new table. Okay. And you can see the complete view of your table information. I mean, whatever the number of columns that are available in that table. Maybe if you want to delete some columns, we can delete it before make it available on your front end level. So I'm not deleting anything. I'm just trying to process it further. So this is where I said, you can see the end-to-end from where you are copying the file and to where the destination will be get stored. So the complete path you are observing now, container, the data file is my container, and I'm trying to import one of the file. And you can see the connected from the blob extraction I'm using. And earlier, a few months back, I can see something like a staging layer, but it is not available now. So you can see the data destination, like a staging layer is something like you can copy it and maybe after some days, next day, it will get removed the data information, temporary storage. So the data destination and the table information. Let's try to execute it. So this is where we can try to build the pipelines too. So you can see the similar way of Azure Data Factory functionalities like a source, destination. Maybe if you want to configure with some variables and parameters, we can get it configure. And the running part, you can see the notification here. And you can also see the success or failure notification. If there is something, maybe by mistakenly I have not enabled some feature, you can instantly see the failure notification onto this execution, this particular copy data command. And I'm expecting this particular table, sales DWH, should be visible to me on this Lakehouse. You can see, please keep in mind these icons. So with the house, with the small table, that's like how I remember. This is one Lakehouse. This is my SQL Analytics endpoint, which I just showcased to the visual level queries and so on. This is my data flow Gen 2, which just configured and extracted. Let me use this one. Let me refresh it. It should be available here. That's what I'm expectation. Pipeline. Still going on. And even we can try to schedule this as per the requirements, the data availability part, add schedule by minute or hourly basis or daily or monthly. You can try to schedule these data pipelines and you can see the latest information as per the batch processing and so on. So data pipelines, data flow Gen 2 or manual file extraction, these are all comes under the batch processing, the data processing part. And if you're working on the real time, that is going to be another real streaming data source system. Automatically, you can see the latest instance of the data up front-end layer. Still going on. You can see here a tick button that means the successfully completed the execution part. And few more important steps that I just want to discuss with you. Source part, you can just try to cross-verify where we are extracting, destination which I discussed, mapping part. Still, any configurations or some changes on this data set, we can try to navigate and we can further perform some transformations on this mapping level. Settings, maybe the fault tolerance, or else maybe if you want to get it, enable some log files on this data set, we can also enable for the tracing or tracing paths too. So enable loggings or that particular execution loggings and so on, we can try to configure it here on the settings level as well. And it's still taking some time. Almost completed. Just give me a minute. You can see the duration here. Because I'm using trial capacity, it is taking much time. But if it is an F64, this kind of a capacity, it will not take this for this simple data set this much time. Very fast. One last, and then this is almost completed. I'm expecting this data should be visible to me on this DP700 Lakehouse. You can try to refresh it. Any questions till now? Linked service. What is that link? Can you please elaborate? Whoever posted the question, can you please elaborate it?
I need to enable my voice. Sorry, I was speaking. Nobody would have heard. So I think some of you are asking for the form, the logins. For that, please fill the form. In the daytime, I give it 2 to 3 times. Rajinder, you are on mute right now. And then there is one question for Rajinder. Can we make pipeline run independent of another pipeline run? I think so, yes.
Yes.
If you want to make dependent, you have to combine them. Actually, and right now I don't think we have a trigger for pipeline, so you have to combine those. We do have triggers where you, based on the events, you can trigger another things.
Correct.
Venkateshwar will provide you logins if you already fill the form. The link is above. I'll post it again if needed for others. But yes, but please hold on. Don't keep on asking this question. I didn't get a login. If you filled the form and every detail is fine, then you will get it. The people who are not getting, there are 2 reasons. Either they did not fill the email ID correctly. Second, they already have a BI World login. And if you have a past login, I have not deleted those. It means you are not going to get a new login. Please ping me separately. If you already have a login, I will re-enable that. There is one more question coming from Sasi. Is it possible to connect to Lakehouse to Power BI and then perform reporting? Sasi,
correct.
Yeah, I think Rajinder, please go ahead. I think this is a good question.
Yeah. Yeah, we can do that, Sashi. Actually, that's what I said, right? From here, you can also prepare a semantic model. After that, you can navigate to the your report directly. It is going to be a direct link. So you can prepare a report building also. So I'm just looking for the last data set, but still it is loading. What I will do in essence, I will showcase to you very quick. So let me give something like WWI semantic. Let me try to showcase to you very quick with some tables to you, how it will be look like. Confirm. So these tables will be comes under this particular semantic model, WWS semantic, and from here you can take it forward and display the data visualizations. So from here you can navigate automatically. You can see a reporting view. I mean, as in the ribbon level, you can showcase as same as the Power BI desktop level how the report link will be visible to you. So here it's navigating. The prompt has been changed now. So semantic model. You can see the semantic table. You have to give the connections here and build the report accordingly. That's what we will do it. So currently editing mode, edit in reporting desktop. This is also a feature, new feature has been comes up. So you can also edit via in Power BI desktop as well. You can see this, edit in Power BI desktop and report building part here itself on the files part, create a report. So like this, we can create a report onto your Power BI Power BI services, which is a fabric related topic. So Power BI, it will navigate there because it's asking me signing, fresh signing. Let me configure it quick. We just moved from modeling to this reporting. So this particular report also, whatever the naming convention you're going to give it, and the report also, it will be visible to you on your particular dedicated workspace DP700 FDD. Just a quick report building I will try to showcase to you, and then we'll wrap up. Okay, hope you got it. Any questions?
Yeah, and do continue to ask your question on WhatsApp. I think we have already shared the link how to join that WhatsApp group. And as I already mentioned in the WhatsApp group, just for everybody's reference, that yes, you can treat it as like a prep group as of now. But yes, we discourage any other post like we don't want you to post anything other than DP600, 700, or DP300, PL300 preparation. Other than that, you should avoid. But yes, please go ahead and use that group, and let me give you the link again to join. You can continue to ask the questions, and in case you have some questions specifically for Rajendra sir, so please do let us know. We'll pass on and we'll get a reply for that. So I think we'll now wrap it up. I do.
Yes.
Yeah. So there was a question, and I'll take that up. Do we have any default semantic model created by default? Default semantic model has been discouraged. They are not create now. You cannot create now. In September, those default semantic models are no more available. So you have to create a custom semantic model. And by all means, custom semantic model were really powerful and much better than default. And I don't think they were adding a value. So it's likely that they went away. So my advice would be just like Rajendra have showed. And with that, I think we are already over by 17 minutes. So we'll wrap it up, but don't worry. You can keep on posting your questions on this video or the other videos of the series. There is a playlist you would be able to get in the channel. But do remember that Rajendra is also doing a series on DP600 and 700. We are going to continue this series till next Friday, every weekday. And on Saturday, we are coming with DP PL300 for Power BI. So stay connected on all the groups and LinkedIn, and we will pass on more information to you. Thanks for all of you who has wake up early morning and watch this in bulk, and thank you for all those who are other time zone. I've seen people joining from UK. It's very early morning for them, and those who are wake up little late in UK. Thank you, US. Thanks a lot for everyone who has joined. Thanks a lot for Rajendra sir for joining us, and stay connected. We have more things coming in next 8 days. Thank you all. And with this, I'm